Hi, folks. Before I start to talk, let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, if everything is working. Just give me a thumbs up in the comment system, the chat, to let me know if everything is okay. I'm waiting for you, okay? You hear me. Thanks, Ivo. Okay, first of all, an introduction. I'm Andrea. I'm a photographer from Italy and Belgium, so I have double citizenship, and I work on SonyForRumors.com since 2008. So I'm in the rumor business. That means that I work to get information about what's coming from not only Sony, actually from all companies, because I like to know where the technology is evolving. And today I shared a rumor about an exciting lens. It's a Sony 24 to 70mm 2.0 full frame lens, autofocus. So for the first time, actually in the photographic history, we have a 24 70mm 2.0 lens. The only thing coming close is the Canon 28 to 70 2.0, but the Sony will be much more useful at the wider end. If you are a landscape photographer, you know there's quite a big difference between the 28 and 24. So Sony will manage to do this lens and still keep the size and weight of the lens in, let's say, in reasonable parameters, so that you can still use it without getting injured if if you keep the lens for 5 minutes or whatever. And this is a rumor shared today, and I wanted now to chat with you, take your questions to see if there's something you want to know extra. So that's the purpose of this chat. The usual technical note: I live in the middle of the Alps, in the middle of the mountains. I don't have fiber connection, anything, so that's why the video has low quality. Moreover, I don't have a studio here at home, so I'm here in one small empty room to do this video. So sorry for the very unprofessional setup, but I think at the end what really matters is sharing the information, getting questions and answers. So I will now start to read your comments and try to answer them as best as I can. Just a disclaimer: I know more than I can say. It's not that I'm really a mean person or whatever. It's as you know, as I told you in some of my previous videos, I use the information I know to double check news sources or other information I get in every day. And so when I share a rumor like the 24 to 70mm 2.0, you can bet on this, me knowing that I will be right. So this is for me a fact and not a rumor. I got some additional information I cannot share, and also some additional information where I'm not sure. For example, I got an information about a second lens coming shortly after that one, that if confirmed, and that's a big if, because don't get too excited if I share this, but if confirmed, it would, at least for me as a photographer, be even more exciting than 24 to 70mm 2.0. And also in this case, a lens that never has been made before. So I will take some of your questions. I will kick off from Ivo Novais in the comment system, and now and then move down. If you really want that I answer your questions, you can make small donations so that I can see it marked, and then I'm sure I will not miss it. I will just read a couple of your comments and then see. So what's the size of the 24 70mm lens? I still don't know. I think it's about the same size of the Canon 2870, which would be quite impressive considering that this lens is wider, and also, from what I heard, optically still superior to the Canon. What's going to be the price of the 24 to 70mm 2.0 from Sony? I have no clue. I think the Canon is something like $2,500 to $6,000, whatever, so close to $3,000. I do believe, knowing Sony history, that it will be around $3,000, if not more. I don't know if this will be a G or GM lens, or be actually, I'm sure it will not be a G lens, sorry. I don't know if it will be a GM lens or actually a new kind of lens range, which would be super exciting. If I have any update about the firmware update, um, like I told you in February, a news source actually told me that the Sony A1 firmware update might be announced in February already. I told you this was a news source, not a trusted source, and this hasn't been confirmed. But my feeling was that, also because I had a chat with the source, that there was some kind of delay. That's according to that source. Anyway, Sony just recently said that from March, many cameras like the A1 and other cameras will be supported by the Creators app, which means definitely a firmware update coming. And so I do believe that if we hold the Sony's word true, then we should get a firmware update this month. I cannot share yet details about the 24-70mm 2.0 lens, like for example, focus breathing, or if it's power zoom. I don't think it's power zoom. Um, I don't have information about this yet. Yeah, well, the first time I read the rumor about when I got the confirmation that the 24-70 2.0 was coming, I was also thinking if Sony might do a trinity of zooms with 2.0, so it means 1635 2.0, 7200mm 2.0. I don't know that, but I think there's a fair chance they're going to do this. I think they should do it, and I think Sony is really thinking about doing this. And like I told you before, I also think they are going to work on some super fast primes too. Regarding powered zoom lenses, the Lane Ringer is asking me if there is some kind of 28-135 PZ update. I heard about a new power zoom lens coming, but I didn't get the specs. So all I know for sure, because the source is trusted, is that there is a new power zoom definitely coming um, within the next couple of months, but I don't have the specs of this power zoom. I will share them as soon as I can. Adam Ginsburg said he has zero interest in the 24-70 2.0. I understand this because it will be a sort of niche lens because of the price, size, and so forth. But what you're probably missing is that this is a first for Sony in the sense that this is going to open a new era of super fast zoom and prime lenses. So I think that's the very exciting part. Of course, not everybody has different expectations. So I write also the comment on my video about the 24-70mm 2.0 lens, the video that I just posted about 1 hour ago. And some were disappointed. I understand this, but you have to understand this is the first of many of such lenses. And I think this is the most exciting part. Any news about the new FX camera? I have some news. I was about to share a rumor about this new FX camera, but then a trusted source sent me a correction, so that's why it's taking longer. Because as I told you last week, Sony seems to have some sort of production problems on both cameras and lenses. I don't know exactly why, and this is messing up the roadmap. So some cameras are postponed, some lenses are postponed, and some things also, um, some cameras that that should have been announced later will become before the other one. I don't, probably because they're more niche cameras, so they plan to produce less. That's just my guessing. So the FX camera rumor had to be changed, and I will share some new rumor, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Thanks, Kit Richmond, for the donation. Thank you a lot. Yeah, $5. That's good. It's good for our good beer. Thanks, Kit. I have no info about Sony making fast primes, like for example, a new version of the 135 1.4 or the 200 millimeter 2.0. I think the 200 millimeter 2.0 would be a stunning lens, and I also do believe in general that Sony is a bit weak when it comes to telephoto lenses. They have some very nice telephoto lenses, but they don't have a lens, for example, like the Canon 100 300 millimeter 2.8, which is amazing because it's flexible and still fast in aperture. And there are niches they still have to some fill with new lenses. So Sony's, I hope like 200 millimeter 2.0 is coming, and also like a lens like I told you, the 100 300 millimeter 2.8. I don't have an update about the 150 400 millimeter GM lens. All I heard in general is that some zooms will be updated. So some of the older zooms, this would include the 150 400 millimeter GM, but I don't know when this will happen. Brandon Ye is asking me if Sony is considering to make a small full frame pancake lens. I think they're considering them. There are some lenses that are nearly pancake. There are no true pancake lenses from Sony yet. I love them. Actually, my first camera was a Pentax, and I used a pancake that was 40 millimeter 2.0, remember? And I loved it. So I would love to see a very pancake lens for the Sony A7C lineup. It would be perfect. But I haven't heard if this is going to happen anytime soon. At least next month, I know we will get the 85 GM2 1.4. We'll get the 2470 2.0. But I didn't get any info about any pancake lanes coming next month. Um, Ivo Novais is asking me again about the FX camera, about the sensor. I don't have the information. So in that case, honestly, I don't know what the sensor will be. My fingers are crossed for a global shutter sensor, which I'm actually studied documentary and cinematography. And for me, global shutters would be really important on an FX camera. So I hope this is coming. Maybe the next FX will have the same A93 global shutter sensor. I hope this will happen. Any update about the ZVE10 II? Yes, yes, I have an update. I already have info about when the next Sony announcement is going to happen, but I'm waiting for the final confirmation if that's when the ZVE10 II will be announced. Because, like I told you last week, there is some delay on an announcement of some products, so I have to double check if the ZV-10 is 2 is coming on that event. But it should be the next Sony Alpha camera to be announced. So there will be no other camera announced before the ZV-E10 II. Only after that we will start to get info about more exciting cameras. Juan Gili Suarez asked me about the RX10V. I have no info about this camera. Like I told you in one of my past videos, I know Sony is actually considering doing a new RX full frame camera, but that's all I know. I didn't hear anything about their Super Zoom RX or aps-c RX or whatever. That's something I really got no info, so I suppose there is no camera coming. I'm reading your comments, so when you have this moment of silence, sorry, but I'm reading in comments to see what you're asking me. What do you think about DJI's upcoming cameras? DJI is making an excellent work because they're very innovative, thinking deeply thinking about how to create a camera that works for a certain specific customer, and they are not bound to any classic, boundaries of the camera manufacturers we know from Japan. So like products like the DJI Osmo, they're really tailored for vloggers, while Sony still makes the ZV-E10 II that looks like, something like a camera that wants to be a vlogger camera, and it sells. So they're right at this time, but I would love them also to innovate further and do something different. So what DJI doing is great, and I think that Japanese companies should be worried, because I can see DJI directly competing with some of the classic hybrid cameras. When can we expect Canon to open an RF mount? Canon released an interview, and it's clear that they want to open the RF mount, not to everybody, but only in talk with some manufacturers. So I believe Sigma will make RF mount lenses, but that will come with an agreement with Canon. So it's not really open, that it's in that sense that everybody can just start to make autofocus RF lenses. That's not going to happen. It's they're open to discuss it with some manufacturers. Any news? That's interesting. Carnation asked me if there's any news on if Sony executives have reached the success of the Fuji X106. Definitely yes. That's not the secret. I believe from day one, all companies, not only Sony but also Nikon, Canon, realized the camera is selling hot. I mean, we already knew it would sell good because of all that social TikTok hype that there was before. But definitely they have direct connection to all stores, so they get the feedback. They know it already. But the problem for Sony, Canon, Nikon is it takes at least 2.5, 3 years to develop a product. So it's not like they're going now, let's do the same camera better and release it in 3 months. So they're probably, if they haven't already predicted it years ago, they will have no competitor for the Fuji X106 anytime soon. Is there Mercy Mo asks me about the A7S4. I didn't get any update. I didn't get any info about this camera. So as you know, the Sony A7S3 is now the oldest full frame camera, alpha camera in the lineup, and it should be, if Sony holds true to the usual release cycle. After 4 years, we should get a new camera, so the A7S4 in this case. But I didn't get any true confirmation. All info I got is that there will be new alpha cameras, definitely after the ZV-E10 II. So it's not like this year we are not getting anything. Like I told you in my previous video, we are not getting the A1 II, likely also not the A7V. So this leaves only a few options. The A7S4, maybe some kind of vintage model, which I would like, but this is just my guessing now, or something that I don't have on my radar right now. Audio Menoni says that the 24 to 72.0 is not a lens that was never seen before. Yeah, it's the first time we have this lens. The Canon is 28 to 72.0. The Sony will be much wider. When will Sony update all the lenses? I've been told that this is going to happen throughout the year, so there will be some updates of some of the older lenses, but I don't have specifics yet. How about Marcus Ortman asked me about the RX1R3. I told him in a previous video that Sony made a survey 1 year, more than a year ago, asking photographers what they would think, what they would love to see on a RX1R2 successor. So definitely they're thinking about it, but I have no info yet if this is going to be released this year. Stefan asked me about the next Sony event. I know the exact date, so I'm going to share this pretty soon. Not here in this live chat because I have to prepare the video, write the articles. but I got confirmation about the next date. You won't have to wait that much to see a new Sony product launch. What I'm still uncertain is what they will announce. I know about one product, but I don't know if there will be something else. I have no news on the A7 IV replacement. I think it's coming in 2025. I do believe, yes. Chua asked me, sorry if I don't pronunciate your names right. I'm Italian, half German, lived in Belgium, so my languages are messed up, and my English is not my main language. But Chua asked me if I think that Sony should make a 24 to 1.5 2.8 lens, and I think yes, they should do it. I'm still reading your comments. When will the 20 to 70 4.24 to 70 Barzon sales ask me 2.0 be announced? I don't have the announcement date, but the fact that two sources quite directly told me about this lens, they didn't want to share the announcement date. To me, it means that it's coming pretty soon. At least that's my feeling. Classic Boy 97 asked me what the realistic dream lens for Sony, what I'm dreaming, what kind of lens. So today I told you about the 24 to 70 2.0. I told you that I got a wild rumor about the lens coming after that, so the next super fast lens, something unseen. Specs that I don't want to share right now because I'm still working on a rumor. But if those specs are right, this would be the perfect dream lens for me. So something really nice. So you have to wait to get my answer. Will we ever see something like a Sigma 1835 1.8 again? First of all, this is an aps-c lens, not a full-frame lens you're talking about. And yes, Sigma actually said over 1 year ago in an interview that yes, they're considering doing this lens for mirrorless aps-c cameras. John is asking me to thread my trusted sources and to share more details about the A7S4. I tried. I try to be. I ask politely, but I never insist. If they don't answer, it means there's a reason why they don't answer. I'm not going to insist. So I cannot grab them on the collar and just force them to tell me about the A7S4. Jeff Curtis is asking me about the Sigma 50 150 aps-c lens that has been patented. I have no info about this lens yet, but I have some exciting Sigma rumors that I will share soon. So stay tuned again, because I got some solid whisper about the next Sigma announcement, and it's definitely going to be more interesting than the last announcement when we got this 50mm 1.4 Fisher and the 500mm 5.6. I think the next announcement is 10 times more exciting, at least for most of us. You can never make everyone happy, but this lens is definitely more exciting. And for that, yeah, that's nearly a wow lens, in the sense that it's something that will be super exciting among the community. Not really unique, but super rare, and we don't have many of those lenses, and super nice. That's interesting. Gerald Williams is sharing info that uh, uh, he talked with Lauva manager, and they told him that Canon is not ready to release the mount information to them. So that means no autofocus, no electronic support. Yeah, that's Canon. They are very conservative. So thanks for the info, and it's sorry to hear that they are doing this. You are then Frank is asking me if Sony will do a lens like the Canon 100 to 500 millimeter lens. I don't know that lens. I don't. We have the 150 400 GM. We might get a 150 400 GM too, but I didn't hear any info about a 100 500 millimeter full frame E-mount lens. Carnation asking a very important question. I will make a video specifically about this in the future, just to press Sony to change the policy. As you know, last year I complained about the Sony firmware policy. I was one of many doing so, YouTubers, and many are more important than me. But I will start to press Sony on the issue of not giving third-party manufacturers full support when it comes to frames rate speed. As you know, the 500 millimeters from Sigma is limited to 15 frames per second, if I'm not mistaken, so it cannot shoot 120 frames per second on the A9 III. Sony should change that policy. I don't know why they have it in place. I have no idea. Nicolas Tinsley is asking me about the macro reproduction ratio of the 24-70mm 2.0. I have no info on this, sorry. I haven't heard about a new SDF lens. Adam Ginsburg is writing that E-mount is incapable of doing 85 1.2. Adam, you are wrong, and you have to trust me on this. You are wrong. That's already people years ago to say it, like it's impossible to do 1.2 prime, whatever the focal length, and Sony released a 51.2. Now it's not the first time I read that people say like, yeah, but the 50 1.2 was an exception. It cannot do 85 1.2 or whatever. No, that's not a problem. Are the rumors about the 24 1.4 GM2 or some faster wide? I didn't get anything about this. Sorry, Dolboyasher. So Ivo Novaes is asking me if the 85 will be macro. I don't think so, and I don't have information about the magnification. Flyfast Media is asking me about the FX3 II. I can tell you that the next FX camera that will be announced is not an FX3 II. That's all I can share as of now. I have no info about possible future Sony fisheye lenses, so Cave B, sorry, I cannot answer you. Let's move on. That is how, when do you think? Israel Brasher is asking if Sony will give us something like film simulation Fuji styles. First of all, Fuji has an advantage. They have a history with all those Fuji films, so for them it's easy to transfer that and translate this into a digital product. Sony will never be able to use a Fuji film style, of course, because there's of course a licensing problem. Fuji will never share this information, but what Sony could do is having Kodak film styles, ask Kodak to license and film styles branded by Kodak, which means Kodak tries to accurately reproduce the film style on a digital camera, and this would be amazing. I think this would be a killer camera if Sony does it. I have no info if Sony will ever do this. I don't think so. Moving down, sorry if I'm a bit slow when I'm reading your comments to answer your questions. Jeff Curtis is asking me if the RX100, RX10 series are dead. I don't know. I think yes, but that's just my speculation. Also because I really didn't get any sort of info about this, but I don't know everything. So, but I think there's a fair chance we are not getting a new camera for this kind of lineups. Moving on, what do you think could be a reason? Marco Pado is asking me when the ZV-E10 will actually be available. I don't have the final information about this, but I heard about production issues, so there might be a small delay about when this camera will be available. So even if it would be announced, let's say April or May, it might take 2-3 months before it's in stock. Hagaishi is asking me about the Sony A6400R or A7000. I haven't heard anything about this. I'm a big supporter of the idea to make an A7000 camera, which means a serious high-end model aps-c camera. Sony doesn't think that way. Probably they only see aps-c as a sort of step in between to convince people to then eventually one day move into full frame. I think it's a wrong approach. They should make high-end aps-c cameras too for people that don't need to go full frame and want to have a professional aps-c camera. So I actually think they're missing out on this, and I haven't heard about any plan from Sony to make a A7000. I hope I'm wrong, and this will be one of the surprises of 2024. Luis Prieto Silvera is asking me again about the A1 firmware update. I already answered that questions 10 minutes ago, so you have to go back in the video to see the answer, but fingers crossed should be coming in March. Hagaishi is saying A6700R. I have no info. I'm scrolling down a bit because I only have a couple of minutes left, so I will take only a couple of questions more. The A1 firmware update seems to be very focused on the video part. That's for sure. Yatfei Chang is sharing an interesting info bit about DJI, that they're very focused on video performance. Yes, that's for sure the case, but I think if you can do a camera that does excellent video, it might even be very good for stills. But yes, I understand that DJI is more focused on vlogger and video, on the video segment. If you have info about upcoming products, just drop me a message because I'm interested about the plans from DJI. Foles is asking me why global shutter for video other than flickering. It's not only flickering, it's also the distortion when moving around, when you pan. It also has to do with the bending. And there's so many advantages. I really like the idea to have global shutter on, for example, on future FX3 2, and maybe even on the A7S4. I definitely not on the A12. There will be no global shutter on this camera. Waren Capture is asking me about the possible alpha camera with Xperia kind of app support. If I understood it right, I think this would be a winner camera. Sony should do a camera with app support and film styles from Kodak. That's my opinion. FX camera will not have the A1 video specs. The future FX camera that is coming. I'm not going to repeat the questions about that I already answered. So sorry if I skip. I'm not ignoring you because I don't like you, but scroll back and then you will find the answer. I cannot tell you now what that FX camera will be. I have the info, but I need to prepare the articles on rumors and so forth. So I'm not going to answer specifically what kind of model you will get. I don't have info about the success of the 24 240 millimeter lens. And yeah, Stefan G, I also owned a Nex 7, and I liked that camera a lot. And I would have loved that spirit of innovation to continue also in the aps-c lineup, but it didn't happen. The last questions. I'll skip some of the questions that I cannot answer yet. Okay, I will wrap it up. I try to do the best I can to answer your questions. Scroll back if you have missed some of the answers. To wrap it up, today we are getting, I shared this info about the 2470 2.0G GM lens or new kind of lens. So I don't know if it will be branded GM or differently. What's very important, again, this is a first of many super fast zooms, and I repeat, also primes to come. So this is why I'm very excited. So like I told you in my previous video, Sony is doing superb job when it comes to lenses, very compact, very high quality, unmatched by Canon and Nikon. I think lenses along their sensors are the two strength of the system, along the flexibility of the E-mount, because you can have, vlogger camera, full frame aps-c, and video camera all with one mount. And what I still want to see now is the same kind of spirit of innovation that we will get on the 2470 2.0 also on cameras, which means new, differently designed bodies. Give us, for example, a vintage camera. Give us, maybe in a distant future, app support, film styles, Kodak film styles. Bring some innovation, because the Fuji X100VI release did show to the whole world that you can still make cameras that make a ton of money, because that's what I really can tell you. Fuji is making a ton of money on this camera. It's more than the past 5 announcements or more combined. This camera is selling a lot. So I hope that Sony will. It would be nice if they could transfer their leading class technology also into a camera that is leading in terms of emotional aspects, easy of use, and so forth. I really hope this is going to happen. I saw still some questions, so we try to answer. What about NATO Italy? You're asking me political questions about Italy. No, thanks. That's not important. Yeah, the sleeve bar is also wondering what kind of question this is. Political opinions have no place on this channel and sonyalpha.com, not because they're important, actually way more important than cameras. And I personally am very political person, since I'm very active in the community, trying to do my part to understand how the world works. But this is very complicated. Okay, that's the nice thing of sonyalpha.com and my other rumor website, and also particularly this YouTube channel that is actually pretty new. It should be sort of safe space where we can dream about not so important stuff, of course, but stuff that brings a smile, makes you enjoy small little things, makes you take a better picture. And that should remain like this. Okay, folks, I'm wrapping up here. It's now 39 minutes. I'm doing this live. I'm excited about this lens. I hope you're also excited about the prospect that this brings. And I'm working now hard to get the same kind of wow on cameras. So I'm doing everything to share info about cameras that are not the ZV-E10 II, that nobody of us really find very important. So I'm holding my breath on those cameras, and because that kind of silence I'm feeling now with the sources is a kind of silence usually brings some exciting new camera, but doesn't mean anything. This time might be, some camera that is high end, but not really interesting for us. So fingers crossed that in the next weeks, months, I will be finally able to get info about those wow cameras and also about other wow lenses coming down the line. Folks, I thank you for everything you do for me, to having subscribed to the channel, to discuss with me what you want to know about Sony gear and your opinion about it. Me, it's very late now. I'm now going back to my kids. They're waiting for me. I have to bring them to bed. And so that's it for today. I think there is no new rumor coming this week, but next week I will start with a bunch of new rumors. So definitely stay tuned, subscribe to the channel as usual, like this video so that I get some likes, and this will help me in time on the YouTube algorithm so that I get found. And yeah, thank you for everything. I really enjoyed those kind of lives, even if the location, everything, connection is bad, location is bad, but it's a very honest communication, and that's what really matters at the end. See you soon, folks. Bye.